Richardson clearly not a fan of Marshall's behavior last season. Stephen A., whose side are you on with this one?
I'm not on anybody's side, believe it or not, because I think both of them have had their troubles. We're not proud of the things that Brandon Marshall has done in the past, which he's copped to and has worked diligently to make amends for, and the reclamation project that he has been. I compare him to Michael Vick to some degree in terms of what they used to be compared to what they are. And so I give Brandon Marshall a lot of credit for that. I also give Sheldon Richardson a lot of credit because he's made a lot of mistakes, which he has copped to, but in the same breath, he's very real, very authentic, and very believable. And to me, if I had to side with anybody, here's how I would side with Richardson. Brandon Marshall, he's one of those guys that, he's so fixated on the positive and being PC and politically correct. He can be real and authentic, but sort of passe about being real open and vivid. Sheldon Richardson, there's no filter. When he spoke, I'm listening to him and I'm saying, damn, did Brandon Marshall really do something here? It certainly seems that way because Sheldon Richardson, you can call him whatever you want, but he doesn't appear to have a phony bone in his body. So again, I wish them both well. I'm not necessarily taking sides, but I will tell you that Sheldon Richardson has been on the attack. He's been very consistent and very authentic in his criticism about Brandon Marshall. That doesn't make Brandon Marshall a bad guy, but it doesn't mean he was perfect inside that Jets locker room, especially when you consider the fact that he's now playing for the Giants and the Jets didn't appear to want him back. That speaks against Brandon Marshall more than it speaks against Sheldon Richardson.
On this issue, I'm with Brandon Marshall. No, not only because he's now a target for Eli Manning with the New York Football Giants, though I do like that. I'm with Brandon Marshall here because he's moved on. He's with a new team. They didn't have a losing record last year. They didn't have 5 wins. Sheldon Richardson stuck on a 5-win team. They still don't have a quarterback. They're talking, there's a lot of talk around, a lot of buzz, like, will the Jets tank this season? And Brandon Marshall's moved on to greener or bluer pastures in this case, and he's not thinking about all that. He's got his eyes on the prize right now, and Sheldon Richardson, because he knows he's going nowhere this season, his team is going nowhere this season, is stuck on what happened last year and still talking about Brandon Marshall.
Well, I hear where you're coming from, Max, but Michael Kay, our very own Michael Kay for ESPN New York, 98.7 FM in New York City, he asked Sheldon Richardson a direct question.
You know what? I was going to bring that up.
He did ask him the question. And then, by the way, Brandon Marshall was doing an interview with a radio station in Boston, and when they asked him some personal issues, he got up and walked off the set.
Right.
So you take those two positions, you have to consider all of that.
I was going to bring that up. Look, Michael Kay was an excellent interviewer, asked a question, and he got a response. But if you're Sheldon Richardson, you can choose not to answer. I know he's a straightforward guy, and that's part of his appeal as a guest on the radio, is he'll shoot you the straight dope, right? Okay, great. So it's interesting for people to listen to. But in terms of the politics of it all, and that's precisely why you like Sheldon Richardson, right? He's not playing the politics. But in terms of what the fallout from what he's going to say, smarter maybe to say, look, that was in the past. I'm looking forward to our season. The fact is he knows he can't look forward to this season. Now, Brandon Marshall, when you talk about like phony or someone who paints him that way, Brandon Marshall's a media star. He's good on TV, and he hopes to have a future in it, not only a present. And so that can rub people the wrong way in the sense that they feel like they're not getting an unfiltered kind of reaction from Brandon Marshall. There's an agenda there.